This is the guy. This guy is from that organization Gays Against Groomers, I believe. Here he is.
Every teacher that has a pride flag in their classroom should be fired and arrested.
There we go. Every teacher that has a pride flag in their classroom should be fired and arrested. So no freedom of speech whatsoever. No free. I mean, this guy, by the way, claims to be gay. This is a dude who himself claims to be a gay man, who says that to display the rainbow flag in a classroom is not only not acceptable on, like, that's, you know, I don't think a teacher should be doing that, but it's criminal. Why? Why the hell should a simple flag of just saying, like, we love and support gay people, don't hate gay people, kids? Why should that symbol be banned from the school to the level of any teacher that displays that should not only be fired immediately, but arrested as well?
The gay flag is a sexual flag. It represents nothing other than sexual things.
What? See, this is why it's hard for me to accept. I mean, I assume maybe this guy is gay. He's claiming he's gay. This is a dude who's coming out there saying, I am gay. But then he's saying that the gay flag, the LGBT flag, represents only sexual things, which is insane because no, it doesn't. Just like the relationship between two straight people is not just about sex, neither is the relationship of two gay people or two lesbian people or whatever. Human relationships, even if they do involve sex as an element, that doesn't make them entirely and solely about sex. I mean, there's probably people who are gay who don't even have sex. Like, there's probably asexual romantics. Some asexuals are aromantic, but some asexuals do still have partners. And probably there are asexuals who are gay in terms of what their romantic partner is. They don't, but they, you know, cuddle and have companionship and love each other and all that stuff. They just don't believe, they're not into the whole consecrating it with sexual, you know, stuff. So that could exist. You could be gay and be a virgin, right? You don't have to have sex to be gay. Ergo, gay and sex are not the same thing. There is a thing called gay sex, but that is one area of gayness. Not everything to do with being gay is having sex. So, like, and this is, if I was explaining this to some straight dude, that'd be one thing. But I'm explaining this to a guy who's sitting there claiming to be gay himself. Weird. So either he is the dumbest gay man in history because he doesn't even understand his own sexuality enough to know that even though it's called sexuality, it's not just to do with sex. Like, everybody knows that. Everybody knows that a relationship, just because it is sexual in nature, does not mean that is the only thing to that relationship. In fact, it's really kind of a misnomer to call it a sexual relationship, unless literally all you're doing with that person is because most of what happens in a relationship is not sex. Most of it is like, who's doing the dishes, and you want to watch this movie, and brushing your teeth together, and hugging each other, and calling each other, and saying, I love you, and all that stuff that has nothing to do with your penis, or your vagina, or whatever you have. Has nothing to do with that.
Gay, lesbian, bisexual.
Oh, yeah, so either he's the dumbest gay ever, or he's lying his ass off. He's lying his punk ass off, and this is a straight dude who's just willing to lie and say, I'm gay, so that he can disparage gay people while being supposedly gay himself. I mean, I don't know which it is. It's one of the two. There's no other explanation.
Trans.
Who brushes teeth together? I mean, a lot of times, you know, me and Chelsea, we have the double sink, and a lot of times we end up brushing our teeth at the same time. You know, I mean, if you obviously you wouldn't crowd her on one sink, but we got two sinks right there next to each other.
Gender and questioning. What business is it of anyone on this board?
One of my 3 gay uncles is upset that he has the right to marry a man. I guess Krista Krista in the chat, it's not on the screen right now, but she just said that. She said, one of my 3 gay uncles is upset that he has the right to marry a man. I guess there are just some people who are just wired with this, you know, Uncle Tom mentality, right? Whereas just like, even though they are part of some minority group that is being unfairly persecuted, they're just so eager to be like, well, I'm not like the other ones though. I'm one of the good ones. I think the terminology these days is pick-me's, right? Pick me, pick me, pick me. I don't get it. I don't get why you would want to suck up to a system that hates you. But I was about to say more power to you, but no, way less power to you, actually.
Of what children would like to do with other children. It is none of your business. It is between them and their parents. But
between them and their parents? I mean, no. I mean, I agree. It really isn't. I mean, it isn't really any of my business what 2 kids do, but it's not necessarily their parents either. I mean, it really depends on the age we're talking about. Like, we're talking about like some like 15-year-olds or 16-year-olds, like, you know, experimenting or fumbling around with each other, you know, like, I feel like that's a pretty normal part of adolescence. If they're too much younger, then obviously like there's a point where it's like, oh, well, maybe we want to stop that. But like all of this is like just so weird. Why are we even talking about this? What does that have to do with the rainbow flag? It's like you look at the flag, all you see is just like sex. And then you're like, oh, they're trying to make these kids into sex things. It's like, what? Because there's a rainbow flag? Huh? So if you're reading the kids like a storybook and like there's a prince and a princess and they kiss or something, is that like just inherent? Oh my God, you're sexualizing them by showing them that straight people exist. No. No. The mere existence of straight people and gay people can be explained to a kid without any sort of like sexual element being brought into the equation. So this is all just really bizarre, really unhinged, really out of left field, and really just goddamn weird.
however, you guys want to illegally survey your students. My name is Frank Rodriguez. I'm the Executive Director of Operations for Gays Against Groomers. I'm a 31-year-old gay man pushing back against the agenda that's happening within our classrooms.
Good for you, buddy. Good for you. I am sick and tired of school children learning that I am not a monster. I am, in fact, a piece of shit. And I should be... Maybe this guy is just like a submissive that's taking it too far, you know? Maybe he's just like, no, I can only get off if all of society hates me. And this move towards acceptance is really killing my boner. Gays Against Groomers. Yeah, their acronym literally is GAG.
Keeping parents away from this discussion is absolutely severing the relationship between a child and their parent.
I don't know how parents are being kept out of a discussion, really. I mean, like, the parents have the right to go to the, like, PTA meetings, to go to the, like, school board meetings. Like, those are open to the public. I assume that you're probably attending something pretty similar to that right now yourself. So I don't really understand how the parents have been removed from the process here.
My community is not discriminated against anymore. Shockingly enough,
Yeah. See how upset he sounds about that? My community is not discriminated against anymore. Shockingly enough. It's like he wants it. I'm convinced now that this guy just has a discrimination fetish. And, you know, this whole atmosphere of tolerance is killing his vibe. Dude, just stop with all this weird shit and stop making it everyone else's problem. Just go find yourself, you know, another gay dude that's willing to do this for you, you know? Find another gay dude that's willing to play the role of like, I'm a straight man and I think you're a disgusting little pig, you know? And, you know, whatever. You can do it. You can role play, man. It's you know, it's a little awkward at first, but you'll get into it. It's a lot better than what you're doing here. This is just weird. Come on. Give it a break.
Succeeded. Now you're sending out surveys that's asking students what their gender is, what their...
Oh my God. Oh my God, no!
Pronouns are, and whether or not.
Well, that's it. Nice. You had a good run, Western civilization, but it's over for you now. You know, you thought you were safe? Nah. Kids are being asked their pronouns. Truly, America is lost. I mean, like, I love how these people, these right-wingers, they're just all the time telling you stuff that's totally innocuous, but they're saying it with this portent of like, don't you see? Don't you see? Oh my God, they're being asked their preferred pronouns. It's the end. How is it the end? What is the, like, draw me a diagram of how kid being asked their pronouns results in some sort of like dystopian nightmare from which there is no escape. Like, figure it out for me. Just like lay it out logically. Here is the first premise. Here's the second. This premise follows from the previous premise, and this premise follows from that premise, and so on and so forth until you arrive at end of the world as we know it. And I don't feel fine. I don't understand. What is the issue, guy? Lay it out for us. Come on. I'm begging you.
Not you should be telling their parents. Could you imagine if my son or one of yours went to school and said, hey, I'm gay, and you never knew? All of you up here are pretty intelligent.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If someone is gay and their parents are virulent homophobes, they might not want their parents to know that. I mean, isn't that like a pretty reasonable thing? Like, if your parents are going to disown you or emotionally abuse you because you're gay, you probably don't want them to find out that you're gay. So, yeah, I mean, like, keeping that private for the protection of that kid makes 100% sense. It's just like if a kid is getting abused by their parents and they go to the school counselor and report, like, I'm being abused, you don't necessarily go right to the parents and be like, is this true? Like, you do an investigation because, like, yeah, if the kid is in danger from, like, the people who are supposed to be their caregivers, that's kind of an important thing to deal with discreetly and carefully. So if a kid is trans or gay, but they come from like some sort of like ultra religious household where they're going to be physically or emotionally abused or neglected for being that way, then yeah, it makes absolute sense to let that kid keep that a secret from their parents, to not tell them that. Why would you tell their parents that? I mean, especially if you think the kid's going to be in danger, if you do, you'd have to be a monster to want that parent to find out.
You have doctorate degrees, you're educated, and you lead this district. But yet, you turn a blind eye with the sexual things that happen in your classroom. I refuse to believe that any of you think that that's appropriate.
You've not demonstrated any sexual thing happening in the classroom. You keep just like declaring by fiat that it's happening, but you can't actually demonstrate a sexual thing happening in the classroom, especially not of a widespread nature. You cannot demonstrate how hanging up a rainbow flag in a classroom equates to a sexual thing occurring in the classroom. That's absurd. You haven't even begun to make the case for what you're saying. So you're basically just a big, fat, ugly liar, aren't you? Well, I'm a big, fat, ugly truth teller, and I'm here to tell you that you're full of shit, bud. And I don't even know if I really believe you're gay, because you ain't got no fashion sense, my man. Come on, I thought gays were supposed to be. Maybe that's what you're mad about. You're gay, but you're not fabulous. Fabulous just passed you by.
Because if you think that that is appropriate, you would be a predator. There's images that are going to be displayed today for you to see of a child sucking another child off. And that's in your classrooms. I shake because it makes...
Is it? Is it really? How much you want to bet that it's like some super primitive drawing that no person could ever find? Like, all right, so here's the thing. When I was a kid, When I was about 13, 14 years old, my mom just kind of snuck this book into my room that was basically like Your Body and You kind of book. And in that book, there were all kinds of drawings of penises and vaginas and tits. They were all very clinically drawn. None of them were particularly salacious or exciting. It was basically just to like explain sex to you in a way that maybe like your parents are either too skittish to do, or, you know, because that in my mom's case, it was definitely that. She didn't want to sit down and have the talk, so she's just like, here's a book. You know, she didn't even give me the book. She just kind of put it in my room. That's like very passively, like passive aggressively, my mom. You know, you probably have some questions about your body and stuff. So here's a book, but I'm not even going to say that. I'm just gonna leave it in there. And, you know, I read it and it was helpful because it did teach me some things that I didn't know. So the idea that like I'm almost 90% sure that whatever this guy is referencing when he says that is some sort of sex ed material that is not presented in like a salacious or stimulating sort of way. It's probably just like, here is something that you can do with your sexual partner. And here are the dangers of that. Here are the things you need to be careful of if you're going to do that. You know, because that's perfectly goddamn reasonable to teach a certain age demographic. Now, you can have an argument about at what age is it appropriate for someone to learn that stuff, but sex is a part of life, and people should be educated about it. You know, you shouldn't have someone who's completely in the dark about this stuff, right? I think that's pretty fair.
It makes me uncomfortable to even utter those words to you. This is nothing about inclusion. It is nothing about respect to my community. I say with you with 100.
I feel like most of your community would disagree with you on that. I'm not saying you're not allowed to be like the outside voice that has a different opinion, but I don't think you get to go out there and speak for your whole community when you know for a fact that most of your community will be like, what are you talking about, asshole? Right? You know that, like, yeah, I'm sure there's other gay pick-me's out there that agree with you, that, you know, also want to like suck up and cozy up to conservative America and be useful idiots until the day, you know, they just want to, you guys are just flirting with the camps, basically. You know, you guys get off on flirting with the camps, and you think that maybe, you know, if you're a good enough pick me, maybe they won't send you to the camps, or at least you'll be the last to go to the camps, right? So, you know, that's good. That's your thing. Hey, rock on. I don't give a I mean, I do, but whatever. I can't stop you. But don't pretend like you're speaking for the broader community on this, because you definitely are not. I guarantee most gay people do not hear this and go like, oh, yes, of course. Very reasonable positions. The rainbow flag is basically pornography. Anyone who hangs that up should be arrested. Yes, I as a gay person agree with that insane sentiment.
100% truth, according to the Center of Disease Control, that the reason my community faces such issues in this world has absolutely nothing to do with the straight people on this planet. Has everything to do with the drugs that we digest. Has everything to do with our access to health care. The number one reason my community has so many mental health issues is because they don't have access to health care. And that's directly from the CDC. It is not slurs, it's not gay bashing. We don't have access to therapy. If you really want to help the LGBTQ community to feel really accepted in this world, embrace that people have mental health issues and they should seek help.
What is this? This seems like a dog whistle, but I don't really know that I understand what the dog whistle is for. Is he trying to invoke like trans people with this? Is he trying to say that like transgender people are really just gay, but they've been conditioned by some nefarious agenda to think they're trans? And that's what he's referencing here? Or what is he referencing? I feel like I'm definitely being dog whistled to, but I don't even know what the dog whistle is. I mean, if I'm going to take your comment at face value and you saying like people are entitled to like healthcare and mental health care and stuff like that, yeah, sure, cool. I agree with that at face value, but I feel like you probably don't mean what I think you mean. I feel like you probably mean something really weird. But maybe I'm misjudging you. Maybe I shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth. Maybe I should just be happy that you support healthcare.
Having a classroom without the American flag in it is a disgrace to this country. If this country...
Oh, yeah, man, no American flag. First of all, I'm pretty sure almost every classroom has an American flag in it. I mean, you can probably find the odd classroom here and there that doesn't, but I'm pretty sure most every classroom does. Now, I don't know. I know there's people in here that are younger than me. Was there flags in your guys' classrooms, folks? I mean, I don't know. Did any of you guys go to a classroom that did not have an American flag in it? Like, I mean, obviously, those of you who are not from America probably didn't have American flags. But you know, like if you're an American, if you went to American schools, the American flag was in your classroom, wasn't it? I feel like it probably was. Yes, all of them graduated in 2015. Right. And, you know, but like aside from the fact that the American flag is in every classroom, why should it be? Like, why does that flag need to hang in every classroom? What is the importance of that? I don't think it's that important. Like, you think they forgot what country they were from? You think they didn't know? I think it's weird that kids are forced to pledge allegiance to the flag every morning. I think that's a really weird, primitive thing. It comes across like it's definitely brainwashing. I would say that being forced to say the pledge every day is way more brainwashy than just the act of hanging up a rainbow flag. Because a rainbow flag is just like, hey, this is about acceptance. An American flag is like, hey, this is about blind obedience and devotion to this. I don't think that's a good value for anyone to learn. I don't think blind obedience to a national symbol is really all that great of a lesson to impart on anybody. I think that probably causes more problems than it solves. You know, maybe I'm wrong. Feel free to argue with me, but you're dumb.
If the country wasn't here, millions of people around the world would perish. And that flag, this flag, should be held high by every single student.
So, question.
I love when there's like a, by the way, it's this dumb podcast. I love when there is this sort of moment when you're listening to someone make a dumb little speech, when you can tell that in their head it's like this great, grandiose, epic, awesome speech, but it's really just like the dumbest shit you've ever heard. And you can tell towards the end of that guy's speech, like just the inflection he was using, you could tell that he thought that what he was saying was amazingly, emotionally powerful, but in fact, it was a bunch of stupid ass dog shit that didn't even make any sense. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, dude. Get over yourself.
When you gave that speech, I saw it. I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't either. I couldn't either random podcast douchebag that for some reason is a thing now. I couldn't believe it either. I couldn't believe how dumb it was. I couldn't believe how ideologically inconsistent it was. I couldn't believe how little sense it made. I couldn't believe the giant leaps in logic that it expected its audience to just take with it. I couldn't believe the backwards ass mentality of it. And I couldn't believe that a gay man would be so eager to line up for the line to the concentration camp. I mean, the guy's got a persecution fetish. The guy's got a discrimination fetish. What he does not have is a logical consistency fetish. So, yeah. By the way, what a dick sucky opening question, even before it's fully left this dude's mouth. She's like, you know, I've got a question. When I saw your incredibly courageous and brave speech, I just thought to myself, how does a man even find the courage to say words so pure and true?
You can always judge, you know, who is an enemy based on who reacts to this and who pushes back and saying, I can't believe he said this. What a speech. This is ridiculous. He's such a this, he's such a that.
He is such a this and such a that is the problem. Sorry. Yeah, I'm proud to be an enemy of someone like that. I'll gladly take the role.
Who pushed back on your speech? Who came back and said, Crank, you don't know what you're talking about?
So
Me? I did. Guy with a better beard. I said it. It was me.
Main people that push back against this was going to be my community, the LGBT community.
The community that you claim to speak for, by the way.
They're very vocal in this.
Yeah, the community that spoke most radically against me is the community that I attempted during the speech to speak for. I said, you know, I speak for my whole community when I say blah, blah, blah. And now here you are admitting, like, no, I don't. Actually, there was massive pushback from within my own community. They did not like what I had to say at all. That's fine. But then don't present yourself as speaking for them, because you can't really speak for a community that reviles what you have to say.
It's the
Not really
far
fair.
left when it comes to these types of things, the woke side of this. And then also a lot of
Woke. Woke, 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 woke. And then they said woke. Woke, man. All right, yeah, woke, cool. Good. You got him. Got him. Nailed him yet again. Every time. You know, I'll be making one of these videos, you guys, and I'll just think to myself, like, oh, yeah, I'm getting them. I'm getting them. And then they'll break out the atom bomb that is woke. And then it's just like, what can I even say? What can I even say to that? Once you call something woke, that thing is defeated. That's just how it goes.
woke women also push back on this. I think when it comes to my community, you know, the gay community, when we point out these things that really need help, such as our mental health issues or our drug addiction rates, no one wants to talk about these things. They want to brush those under the rug. But the moment you get someone like Huntington Beach wanting to just fly the American flag at their facilities, they get uproared, they get angry, they get mad. But no one fights for the things that we actually need. And so that's why I'm really glad that this speech that I say that shook the world actually
Oh, baby, it didn't shake the world. Did you guys feel a shake? I didn't. Anyone here feel the world shake during that speech? Maybe I'm wrong on this. Maybe I just didn't. Oh wait, holy shit, you guys! Oh my God, I just got it. The rumble. Oh, the world is shaking. No, sorry, bud. The world didn't shake from your speech. It didn't even tingle. There wasn't even. I didn't even feel the slightest tremor, my man. Hate to tell you, the vibrator with a dying battery shakes the world harder than that limp dick speech you gave. That was garbage, bro. That speech was mid. That's right. I'm using that lingo. I'm trying to adopt lingo younger than I am. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna say as a 38-year-old man, that speech was mid, my man. Speech was goddamn MID mid. I don't know why mid means terrible. Because by the nature of mid, it should mean mid. But I guess not. From what I can tell, mid means it was awful. Now, you're 31, you said, so maybe you know mid better than I do. But from what I understand of mid is when something is god-awful. So your speech is mid, my man. Hate to tell you, it was mid AF, okay?
Open the eyes to a lot of people because there are things that my community needs. And unfortunately, they're pushing back on it.
Yeah, maybe it's because that's not what they need. I mean, think about the conceit here. Just like, yeah, you know, my community's a bunch of stupid f***s, and instead of caring about the stuff that actually matters, like I care about, they're all in a tizzy about some other bullshit. If only they were like me and could see the real truth. Now, in fairness, I have the same beliefs about everything I say. But, you know, when I do it, it's cute and charming. When this guy does it, worst goddamn thing in the world. You ever notice that?
Jed, your reaction when you're hearing something like this as a parent, what are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, as a parent and somebody who used to work in schools, you know, this is to me, a deeply
What do you think, random woman? You know, to me, this is deeply fucking... Anyway, that's that. Whatever the hell that garbage was.